Hey guys, welcome to Korea Hearthstone Masters. I am Doan. With me today is Wolf. That's right, Shober's out of town for the week, so that means we're going to have some guest co-casters on the cast. It's going to be fun. Wolf and I have casted a lot of stuff together, a lot of StarCraft back in the day at the GSL, a little bit of FIFA once in a while at WCG. It's been interesting from time to time, but yeah.
For sure.
Wolf is here today.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Doa. Thanks for inviting me here. I love Hearthstone. It's a game I enjoy playing quite a lot, and it's gotten pretty big here in Korea, and I really feel honored to join you on the desk today.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. I don't know why I say we. Apparently I'm Gollum now, but either way, I'm happy to have you here. And it's Blackrock Mountain time, man. I mean, the first couple weeks, the cards, came out. We decided to wait until the round of 8, which starts today. And so that means all of the cards that have been released so far in Blackrock Mountain are available for players to use today. So that means we might see some Grim Patrons, some Axe Flingers. Those are my two favorite cards from Blackrock Mountain right now. Forget that Emperor Thorison guy, although I'm sure he's going to be in every Druid deck we see today. But either way, it's going to be cool to see what people have come up with.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of Emperor today for sure, especially any Druid decks that we come across, because it seems to be pretty strong. I mean, lowering the cost of every card at the end of each turn. I mean, you're probably usually realistically only going to get one turn out of him, but every turn that you do get out of him, if you can hide behind a taunt or something like that, it just stacks.
Well, man, if he survives for more than one turn, it just gets insane. Like, I mean, I've had games against Handlock where he gets put down behind like a mountain giant with taunt, and you're like, well, how in the world do I deal with this? If you play something more aggressive. But I wonder what we're going to see, because we saw a lot of stuff like mid-range Hunter in the earlier rounds, and with the Blackrock Mountain cards coming out, will we see more of that? Will we see less of that? Yeah. We haven't taken a look at any of the decks yet. We've got them to right here, but I refuse to look at them because I want to be surprised, because that's just more fun.
It's definitely more fun that way, for sure. You were talking about mid-range Hunter a little bit. I was playing just before we started. Someone was using that quick shot card, does 3 damage for 2 mana, and if you have nothing in your hand, I mean, you get a card out of that too. So even if you're not using it to go for face, I mean, you might be able to draw a card here and there depending on the situation. And for 2 mana for 3 damage, pretty good for a Hunter.
Well, it's an interesting card too, because we saw Dark Bomb come out for Warlocks, right, which is 2 mana or 3 damage for 2 mana, and no additional effects too. And we see Warlocks using that from time to time in slower decks. So I think Hunter got an interesting mid to late game deck-oriented option, because really, I mean, a lot of people saw that and they're like, oh, they must just want Face Hunter to be fantastic. I think even I was saying that a little bit too, but honestly, 3 damage for 2 mana is never a bad thing to put in a little bit of a slower deck, and if you get the draw from it, so much the better. So, a little bit of information about our tournament. You guys all know this so far already, probably 27 million won is the prize pool, 10 of that going to our first place player, and above all else, I think, more than the money, is the fact that there are World Championship points on the line. So doing better in this tournament will give you a better opportunity, better chance to get to the Hearthstone World Championships later this year.
Yeah, and there's a huge disparity between first and second place, 150 versus 70. That's more than double the points. So the winner is going to get a ton of points. And I mean, if you're at 9th to 16th, you're not getting that many. So it's important to place us highly here. The ones who've already made it to the round of 8, of course, do get a lot more points already. But
well, this is one of the major Hearthstone tournaments in Korea. So yeah, winning this is pretty much going to get you to the World Championships. You're going to be able to find points in other places too, but this is kind of the place in Korea where you're going to get the biggest chunk of them. So it's a big deal. And what's been interesting this season so far too is that we've seen some familiar faces, but overall we've seen a lot of new blood come up in Korea. And I feel like the talent pool in general has really increased in Korea from last year. And we even had someone make it to the semifinals last year at BlizzCon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year.
Yeah, Korea has actually shot up in skill in this game a lot faster than I expected them to. I knew the game was going to get really big here, but it didn't really get as popular and didn't really get released. There wasn't like a Korean beta for a long time. So I was a little bit surprised that as soon as it started to grow here in Korea, we saw the Korean players shoot up in skill quite significantly, like you were talking about.
It seemed to be like when it came out on the mobile platforms, then that's when the Korean populace, the gamers here, really kind of adopted it, because everybody's got a tablet, right? Yeah. So it really seemed like that helped quite a bit. And today we've got 3 best of 5s, where usually it's 2. That's why we're starting a couple hours earlier today, is because we're going into the round of 8. And how that's going to work is, well, first I guess we'll take a look at the new cards. We'll explain the rounds later. So as you can see, we've had a few released so far in Blackrock Mountain. That's some of them right there. Some of them like Gang Up. I don't think we're going to see that in any decks here or really much of anywhere, unless it's some sort of Fatigue Rogue or something like that. But Emperor Thorison, definitely. I'm still hoping for the Grim Patron. I think the mid-range warrior deck with that is really good right now, but I don't know. We'll see if players want to use it.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You know, some of these other cards, like the was it Flame Shock, I believe, is the one with the 2 mana, 2 damage, and it unlocks your crystals.
Magma
Shock. Magma Shock, that's right. Could end up seeing that,
or
perhaps.
Lava Shock, I'm sorry.
Lava Shock.
All the cards now.
Right, Fire and Shock, something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely could see that in a Shaman deck if we end up seeing Shaman today. Not sure if we will, but that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, you know, we haven't seen any Shaman at all yet in this tournament, and some people have been kind of experimenting around with a little bit more. You know, Emperor Tharzan helps enable that, you know, a bit more too. So we'll see what we see. No real Dragon deck options yet as well, as a lot of those Dragon cards haven't been released yet. Here's our quarterfinal groups. Basically, we're dividing this into 2 groups of 4, and we're going to run it dual tournament style, which, if you're not familiar with that, how it's going to work is you have 2 players play, then the other 2 players will play, then the winners play the winners, the losers play the losers, and then the winner of the losers plays the loser of the winner, and so when it all ends up, you have 2 people advancing out of each group, basically. So today, we're going to see the first 2 matches, Seulsiho versus Lucete, Luxam versus Abelmo, and then we'll have the winners match. And so tomorrow, we'll conclude the group with another 2 best-of-5s.
Right, and so today we will decide the first person to get out of the group. So
yes,
that much will be decided for sure.
We'll know 1 person moving on, and we'll know what 2 people are going to have to fight for survival tomorrow.
Just looking at...
well, that's what the fans think as far as who's going to advance, and I'd have to agree with that. I mean, as far as these players go, Seulsiho, obviously the huge favorite here, one of the best players in Korea for a long time, and Luxam as well, another player on Seulsiho's team, actually, on Godsiho is the name of the team, and that people are considering to be sort of the top team in Korea at the moment. That and like Golden Coin are kind of contesting each other, but so far the Golden Coin players haven't really done quite as well, but Godsiho is looking good.
Yeah, and you know, for this sort of thing, how many? Actually, I just got to ask you a question. How many players are in this team, Godsiho? Like,
it's only about like 4 or 5 at the most right now. It's a smaller team, and it was kind of more of an exclusive club. I mean, none of the Hearthstone teams are really that big right now. That was now bitter of review, and of course Kranish from Team Dignitas getting eliminated by Seulsiho in the first round, and that could have been a finals, man. It was really sad that we had to see one of those guys go home. And of course, then the series of Lucete versus Jungle Ramu. How can anyone ever forget that one, man? Lucete barely getting out of there in Game 5. It's pretty crazy stuff, and Jungle Ramu have been getting a lot of free cards from that Facebook post.
Yeah, you know, I think he's up like 700 packs or so now, you were saying?
Yeah.
Me earlier.
It's pretty insane. I hope we get to see him again. He had a lot of emotion. It was fun. But as you can see, our first match is going to be Seulsiho versus Lucete. And Seulsiho, by far, I think, the favorite in this best-of-5. But Lucete, you know, he looks like a much better player than when we saw him in Season 2 last year on OGN. So we'll see what he can do this time around.
Yeah, some records going up here. Interesting stat there, the GVG record. So just kind of breaking that down into more recent history is 11-9.
Yeah, he's been looking pretty good so far in tournaments with that. And again, he is 2nd overall in terms of wins here in Korea in professional matches. So he really has done well for himself. But every time I see Kranish mentioned, I just feel bad. I really wish those guys hadn't met because, you know, I've said it so many times, that could have been a finals, but
yeah.
Oh well. Someone had to go home. Seulsiho certainly deserving to move on.
Sometimes this happens, you know, in a bracket.
Yeah.
Luck of the draw, you get a tough opponent first round.
That's how it was.
Goes. Yeah.
Yeah, the groups were drawn right after the qualifiers, and that's how it ended up. So his opponent, Lucete, you know, a player that, like I mentioned, I feel has really improved since last year, but has he improved enough to beat Seulsiho? I'm not terribly sure.
Yeah, that's a good question. Did defeat Jungle Ramu, as you were talking about, 3-2 in the round of 16 to get here.
That game where Lucete was up 2-0 in that series, then lost 2 in a row to Jungle Ramu, got really afraid, and then was able to win game number 3. But he had some crazy bad luck happen to him in those 2 games he lost too. So I wouldn't look at that score and really take a lot away from it. I think this guy is much better than the 3-2 player, but that's one of the nice things about the Conquest format, I think, is that it does so often go to Game 5, and it does create, you know, much more intense matches, I think.
Right, and you know, just looking at these 2 players' stats, like, this guy just simply has less stats to look at if you just look at 3-2. I mean, that doesn't tell you a whole lot about how good he actually is. It's just his stats in these tournaments here in Korea. So.
I mean, that's GVG, and that's the Korean scene in general right now. So here's the win rates overall with these guys. Guys' decks.
With
these guys' decks. Guys' Warlock, Mage, and Druid will be the deck choices for Seulsiho. I think we're going to see a lot of Druid and a lot of Mage today, but I'm curious about that Warlock. Warlock did not do well overall in our round of 16. Warlock only won one game, and that was a Warlock mirror match.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. We'll see what Lucete brings here as well. Rogue, Hunter, and Mage will be his choices.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, as we were talking about before, just not that much information about this guy yet, stats-wise, because he simply has 18 games total played.
Right. Yep.
And I mean, like, looking at a 100% win rate, it's 1-0, so not too much information here, but Mage really popular right now. Mech Mage, obviously, very strong on the ladder.
Yeah, Mech Mage is a good mid-range mage option now as well. The Tempo Mage you see quite a bit in tournaments in Europe and NA. And then there's also, you know, way at the other end of the spectrum, that Freeze Mage, which isn't quite as common in tournament play, but we do see it pop up every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we are going to have a Druid versus Rogue matchup for our first game. And we will see who takes it. Seulsiho versus Lucete here in our first best of 5 of the night. I think it's about right. It's about time to get in the game. Usually Chobra does all the intros, and he can speak Korean, so he can kind of hear when they're going to do it. I'm just kind of guessing, but I feel like I did pretty well on that.
No, you did
one.
Actually. You did a great job, because I can hear the Korean decently well. You timed it quite nicely.
I'll just let you lead into it. That's what I should do.
I'll do it if you want.
We'll discuss it. We'll see. We'll have a straw poll.
Sure. Straw poll posted up on Twitter.
Rogue versus Druid here, and Senjin Shieldmaster in Lucete's deck, so I'm guessing this thing is
Bit of a slower one?
Yeah, I'm thinking that. We did see the extreme end of that ramp Druid without any parts of the combo at all last week. I'm not a big fan of that Druid right now, but with Ember Tharson, I think it's certainly got a much better chance now than it did last week.
What do you think about mulliganing the Wrath here? I guess, you know, against the early first few turns, Rogue, in most cases you're not going to need it.
I think it's fine. I mean, against Rogue, any minions are going to play that will be killed by Wrath, and presumably you'd be using it for the 3 damage would be like, you know, SI7 agent, and a lot of the Rogue stuff already gets what it needs to get done, you know, before you have a chance to respond. So, yeah, I like giving that away. You can get into a little bit more ramp, and you get the Zombie Chow, which is a much better start than a Wrath.
Yeah, definitely so. So, I mean, he could be very happy with that.
Yeah, not bad.
I'm just going to see the dagger pass here.
Yeah, not too surprising. So let's see. A little bit of mana to work with.
Do you think he's, I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to go ahead and get Fang out this early. I mean, he could, you know, possibly innervate and coin it, but
it'd be a bit ambitious to use all that to get the Druid of the Claw out so early.
It's already, you know, he's already got board control here too with the Zombie Chow, and maybe wait until that gets dealt with first. Save your crystals.
I think so too. I mean, you always have to think too, you know, what's my next turn going to be, and he wouldn't have the greatest turns 3 and 4 if he decided to do that. So I think this is the best idea. Just hero power, do a little bit more damage. Gaining armor against a rogue, never a bad thing.
Yeah, start building that. And, you know, you hide a lot with this too. You know, keep your opponent guessing a little bit.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. Not able to combo that SI7 agent now, just having to use it to just get a little bit of board control. You can see Lucete not too happy about having to play that, but I can't blame him. There's not really a whole lot else you can do.
Yeah, what other plays does he have? I mean,
yeah.
It's either that or, like, just hit face weapon.
Well, there's that Emperor Tharson. I say you coin innervate that one out right
Oh, yeah,
there.
for sure, right? Because then he's got Sylvanas, Druid of the Claw, Swipe, and Sludge Belcher all going to have that bonus.
Yeah, and because he's got such a big hand, I think that's why we're going to see him do that. The trouble is that it's probably going to die, and he knows that, but getting that much stuff cheaper against Rogue is so huge. That is some pretty incredible board presence that he's going to be able to develop because of that.
And you know what? In order to kill him, he's going to actually have to take 5 damage here, I think. Oh, well, nope, he draws Deadly Poison, but, well, I guess I would still
be
have
able to. Yeah, I'll still probably take some damage.
You know, I mean, I guess if he wants to just go ahead and burn his sword with the Blade Flurry, he could do it that way, but
he could. I was wondering if we were going to see, like, Deadly Poison into attack the Zombie Chow into Blade Flurry, and then that would clear with the SI7 agent.
That's what I was thinking.
Looks like he's going for
just going to prep this.
More board presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is all right as well. You can still eliminate Emperor Tharson, and you know you're going to get 5 health back from that Zombie Chow eventually, so it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I like it.
And, you know, he's got a decent board control here. But he doesn't know what's in his opponent's hand, which is just a lot of insanely cost-efficient cards now with that decrease in mana. He might even just toss out the Belcher here. He could also swipe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if we're going to maybe see him swipe and then just run his Zombie Chow into it.
If he swipes, I mean, you'd want to use the 4 crystal swipe here, right, just to be efficient and to keep the 3 for later.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's what I do here.
I mean, you're not going to be using that 1 mana for anything else, so might as well. It's like, it feels a little bit uncomfortable to have to give up your Zombie Chow like that, but you still have stronger turns coming. The other kind of tricky thing is you just don't have any board.
Exactly, and then they've got the weapon too for whatever you prepare to throw at them next. But
I mean, you know they're going to need to have to spend 2 mana to remake it if they want to really use it effectively. But you know, we can see Lucete's hand and see that there's not really a lot of threats in it. You know, he's probably just going to have to Azure Drake for the draw next turn, but
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I think he is just going to run a Zombie Chow in. I think that's the best move at this point.
You know, he's already built up a ton of damage here too. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Like, even though he does get 5 foot back here, still, you know, he's got 31 health. His opponent now, especially, I mean, like you were saying earlier, he doesn't know, but now he's like, oh, okay, all you had was a Drake, so
yeah,
I'm feeling okay here.
All right.
He's gonna Sylvanas here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad play because when else are you really going to have a chance to play this against Rogue? I mean, this does kind of prevent him from developing it anymore with like possibly a Lothep or something, and kind of makes it a bit awkward. We'll see if he saps it. He's not going to get out Emperor Thor's. Yeah, I think you just want to get the Emperor out as soon as you can. The tricky thing is that his hand is already so cheap.
Yeah, this doesn't give him much of a benefit. In fact, the preparation already kind of nullifies the effect anyways, because any other card you'd want to use, you could just prep it if you wanted to. Prep's never going to go below 0.
I mean, it is tough for Druid to clear that. The funny thing is Seulsiho right now, he actually can swipe Wrath it, which is...
And draw a card, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy, but that's just the benefit that the Emperor gave him, you know, early on, and we'll see if he wants to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, he could also like charge into it and Wrath it, but I think you want to save the Druid for later here.
Yeah.
Because he already dealt with the first Violet Teacher that he could possibly running into, I feel like swiping is not a bad choice here.
Yeah, because you're not going to have Rogue really develop a huge board unless it's with a Violet Teacher. And like you said, since he's already seen one, fairly unlikely he's going to see another one in the near future. So I think you can kind of play the odds and go for it.
Yeah, I think saving the Druid here is much better.
Yeah.
And just go ahead and swipe Wrath it. You'll draw a card.
I agree. Well, there we go. And he's just going to go ahead and use the hero power on that.
Okay. Save
he's
the Wrath for later.
Yeah, he's got 30 health, and he's only going to technically take 3 damage overall, down to 27. Yeah. And whenever you can avoid playing a card, the better. Whoa.
Uh-oh. Hey,
yo, what's up?
I know that's a big card in the meta right now, but it's not that big, right?
He's way too big in the meta. That card needs a nerf in size, man.
You can't even end your turn against this card anymore now.
That is OP.
Oh, he's actually going to 3-Wrath this, it looks like.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And that's fine. I mean, you get that 4/6 out.
Yeah. He's got a good hand, too.
Conceal. Oh, interesting. Huh. I might have to take a look at this list later.
You know, maybe you think he might be actually running a Gadgets and Auctioneer? Like, no way, right?
Well, no, you do see some Gadgets and Auctioneers in decks recently. I mean, Orange at IM was running actually 2 of them in his Oil Rogue deck. That was pre-BRM, though. And, you know, Thaurissan Conceal is a pretty sick play, actually.
Yeah.
Not going to get to do that this time, obviously, but thinking about it makes me kind of afraid.
But yeah, that's a scary thought.
We might just see him sap it.
It's such an unfortunate position for him because even if he saps, it's like not good. He could just play it again the next turn.
I mean, you're right. It just doesn't do a whole lot for him.
Yeah, he
just go ahead and take 4 to face.
And now this is terrible because he can actually just drop Sludge and Sen'jin here if he wants to. He could even charge out Druid. He's got so many options. So many options.
Yeah, and the likelihood, because 1 Deadly Poison's already been used, of like a gigantic Blade Flurry is pretty remote. I think we'll see if he wants to drop both of them. It might not be bad just to drop 1 and then Hero Power as well, too.
Yeah, the Belcher, then just get the armor.
Yeah. That would be the ultra safe play. It all depends. Yeah, okay, he's going to use the Hero Power. I kind of like that a little bit better. It is safer, and in this situation, I think the safe way is the way to go. And while it's unlikely there's going to be like a gigantic Blade Flurry, it is possible. And there's 1 Tinker Sharpsword Oil, so you never know.
That's that oil coming in here for you. That card is terrifying.
Unfortunately, no creatures to really pair that with. He's going to just have to play it.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is just such a terrible position for him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the old Samsung Galaxy Con coach, I think.
No. Everybody loves Hearthstone.
Everybody loves Hearthstone, man.
Of course. All right, well, eliminating it down to that Sludge Belcher, that'll be fairly easily dealt with, but okay, just going to sap it too. All right.
Well, I mean, it's it's still not ideal, but what are you going to do? You can't just leave it there. You're starting to get pretty low. You're down to 17 at this point.
Well, if he would have left that out, he would just be dead to the combo if his opponent had it.
Ooh, Kel'Thuz's odd coming in here.
Yeah. See, here you just go Zombie Chow and then KT. That's right. Sickest play, right?
I'd save it. I don't know, though. I think I'd save it here.
You don't want to play it on hard mode? It's like
well, you know, if I were up 2 games in a series, maybe.
It's too dangerous. Okay. It's going to put a little bit of pressure on either way. I've got a feeling that...
ooh, that hurts,
bummer.
man. Oh, God, so unlucky.
That's like, it's something that happens to every Rogue player, and it always hurts just the same. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. He just gives up.
At 13 health, man, he had 7 damage coming in, and I would wager that Seulsiho is actually not even running the combo in that deck. He may be running 1, but with the
we didn't see any pieces, so...
Well, with the deck we saw last week, too, that didn't run it, normally I'd be like, well, he's got to be running at least 1, but I wonder. Either way, it's a victory for Seulsiho, and he's going to go up a game in this series, and Lucete, you know, it's kind of one of those games where I feel like he just didn't draw the right stuff at the right time.
Yeah, there was clearly an idea to the deck. It just didn't come out the way he wanted it to.
Yeah.
And he also had, you know, Thars, but he didn't have the conceal that he probably wanted to use that combo with. He had to play it with a hand that didn't really get much benefit out of it as well.
And it's still going to be a good deck. Like, he can still bring it back and use it against some of these other classes. So it's not really all that bad. I mean, it is kind of nice, actually, to have the Druid out of the way.
Yeah.
But we'll see what he's got planned. The other options for Seulsiho now are Warlock and Mage. Lucete can bring out the Rogue again, or he can play Mage and Hunter. So we'll see.
Yeah, he looks pretty relaxed at this point.
Yeah.
That was a pretty easy victory for him there. And I think he's probably thinking the same thing, like, well, I guess I didn't really get to see what that deck's got to offer right now. So.
Well, it looked like a bit of an interesting Rogue deck. A couple little tweaks from Blackrock Mountain.
Well, but which deck do you think Seulsiho is going to go for here now that his Druid's out?
With all of his opponent's decks left, I don't know if it matters a whole lot, but we're about to find out. Time to go into game number 2. And let's see what they go with. Warlock versus Rogue. Okay, so Lucete sticking with the Rogue deck, it looks like.
Yeah. And
Seulsiho bringing out his Warlock. And I wonder what kind of Warlock this is.
It's got to be a slower Warlock, right? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely.
It's
handlock.
Yeah, it's looking very much handlock here with this great starting hand with him with a Dark Bomb and the Drake. He's only going to mulligan Sylvanas here.
I agree, man. Keeping Dark Bomb against Rogue is pretty nice. Getting rid of that SI7 agent early on, possibly. But I wonder what type of handlock deck this is, too, because we saw Reniauer run like the really old school handlock last week, and I don't think that's the best card in this meta right now, or the best style of handlock in the meta at the moment. I would much rather see something that, you know, ran a couple Void Callers, ran the Mal'Ganis, but we'll see.
It's a Mortal Coil here, and he did decide to drop the Dark Bomb. Again, knowing what kind of deck he's up against after watching the last game, so he, you know, I feel like dropping the Dark Bomb is pretty fair here. You're not running into too many low-cost minions, not many minions at all, in fact.
It is a riskier keep, you know, against Rogue, because you don't know if you're just going to kind of be sitting on it for a little while. So
just going to tap here, nothing else to do.
Nope, this is handlock, man.
This deck's flowing pretty well. Doesn't have any Mountain Giants yet, but otherwise looking pretty good. I don't even know if he necessarily runs Mountain Giant, but I'd assume so based on how it's looking so far.
We've had a couple people take them out recently, but I don't know, it really depends. It seems like in Korea people are liking the older school version of the deck right now. And so that does include the 2 Mountain Giants. I bet he's running it, but I could be wrong.
Just gonna prep sprint here.
Yep, why not? Against handlock, I think it's
keep up with that draw.
Yeah, you really do, and you keep up. Well, you keep ahead in the life, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gets that Violet Teacher.
And shows a Dr. Boom, which of course is in pretty much every deck right now. But
oh, yeah. And the Twilight Drakes are coming out. So this is going to make it a bit tougher. You're going to have to do something about this. Yeah, there we go.
Just going to go ahead and dump those out and do that 2 damage. The Drake is not like this scary, crazy threat, but definitely really frustrating to deal with. And
well, this is it's a tough matchup for Rogue, you know, because I mean you have all these huge high health minions. So if the handlock really starts rolling, it's how it's always been in this matchup. It can be really tough. And yeah, with Mortal Coil, he can trade with his Violet Teacher so easily. So draw Hellfire. Okay.
Hellfire.
Might be useful down the line.
Drops that
Twilight
second Twilight, both 4/9.
Oh, this is looking a bit rough for Lucete. Malagos. Oh, wow. It's the Neo Malagos Rogue. Okay. Interesting.
I don't think it's going to do much good here for a while, though.
Yeah, well, that does explain the conceal a little bit more here, but interesting. You know, there's been a couple people running this here and there. It still doesn't seem like the strongest Rogue variant that's out there.
It seems somewhat gimmicky to a certain extent. You know?
It always has been a little bit gimmicky, but it's interesting to see. And last year we did see quite a few Korean players using it actually. But Korean players have always really liked their big combos. They like to kind of play the odds a bit. That's been a difference between Korea and China and pretty much the rest of the world. Is that playing the odds is much more a part of the way the game is played here in Asia. It seems like.
Well, I mean, at this point, yeah, I think just tapping first to see. There's like nothing that's a must play right now. Could just go ahead and taunt this up.
Yeah, why not?
Looks like that's what he's thinking about doing here, but could also Argus it.
He could taunt and then Dark Bomb the 3/3.
True.
Wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
I think getting a taunt up right now is totally fine. Yeah.
Sure.
Argus you definitely probably save for Molten Giants later
That's what.
on
Yeah,
or
that's what
something
you
like
normally do the 0/0 and then.
Oh, Hellfire.
Hellfire's an interesting choice here. It's going to make him closer to his Molten Giant.
It will, and he's got the anti-kill bot, you know, so we'll probably see him sustain a bit more in future turns with that.
Look at him, man. You see this camera shot there. He's like actually counting crazy numbers right now.
Yeah.
I think he's like trying to calculate how much it's going to take to kill 7 health on this, how many cards he'd have to use. Like,
Yeah.
he can't backstab here.
Well, he can sap.
He can
That's the trouble there, unfortunately, for him.
But the thing is, if he saps here, it makes the other cards, the other taunts he can run into later a lot scarier.
It'll just become a 4/9 again, I believe. I haven't looked at the cards in hand at the moment. But, oh, he burns an anti-kill bot, too. That is a nice benefit.
Yeah, so if he plays it now, it'll be 4/10.
Yeah.
He could... Yeah, I think just playing it again is not that bad of a choice. He could also Hellfire here after hitting face, but no,
could,
and Dark Bomb it.
I would suggest just hitting the Violet Teacher if he's going to Hellfire.
Yeah, I guess that's right. That was a silly thing of me to suggest. I think about it.
Let's see. This would be the first Violet Teacher we've seen this game from Lucete.
Yeah.
But
we didn't see a second one last game either, so we don't know if he has two or not.
I'm thinking about Lothep too. I mean, like you said, he does have that Dark Bomb, so he does have ways to handle this. Whenever you leave a minion out for Rogue, though, you're just always a little bit worried about that Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil, you know?
Yeah. Just like in the past, you used to be concerned about that the card that's like 1 mana that gives you +4 with combo. What was that card called again?
Oh, jeez. Why do you do this?
I'm sorry. I just couldn't remember it. But yeah, everything everyone knows
I could
what
until that second right now. There we go. We'll be the Hellfire play.
But yeah, you're always scared about those kind of plays with Rogue if you leave a minion out.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's even more pressure right now with Sharp Sword Oil.
Ooh.
There he is.
Emperor, and he's got the conceal combo right next to him. It's so tempting. And I don't see any problems with the play.
Well, with Hellfire used, the only thing that's really going to handle Emperor Thaurissan if he puts it out would have been, Dr. Boom's a fine play here too, just to draw more out of his opponent's hand. That's the idea there. But the only thing that's really going to take out Thaurissan is going to be Shadow Flame on a Giant, right?
Yeah.
If it's concealed, that is. So.
No. And he does have Shadow Flame in hand. He's just going to, of course, VGH this, which is, he already had that in his hand from pretty much the beginning.
Yeah, getting a nice taunt there.
Yeah, I'm just going to hope that those bombs don't hit his VGH. That's the ideal situation here.
I really am curious to see how we're going to see Lucete play this one out. Wow.
Not going to use Fan of Knives here.
That worked.
That worked really well for him. Looks like he's just going to go. Is he just going to go for it? I guess so, right?
Maybe.
Because he does have that Shadow Flame in hand. He doesn't know that. He also could Shadow Flame another card, for example. Doesn't have to necessarily Shadow Flame the Giant.
Okay. So basically he's saying, all right, I need to draw more cards. Here's a Thalnos. I didn't kill the Sunfury Protector. Could have been good with that bomb.
Yeah.
You know, it does make for potentially a pretty good trade with Sunfury Protector and Dark Bomb. Yeah, and Eberthar's, and you're able to keep your Mountain Giant fairly healthy. I wonder if he runs 2 Mortal Coils in this deck.
I don't know. Also, if he does that, do you think he's just gonna hit? Is he gonna leave the Blood Mage out, or is he just gonna trade the 8/7 into it?
It seems like such a waste of 8 damage.
It seems a huge waste, you know.
But leaving Thalnos out is really dangerous. I mean, you're gonna give him a draw if you kill it too. So
yeah, it's kind of lose-lose in that situation. But
with let's see, he's at 19 health, I believe, right now. So
yeah, he's gonna maybe play the Drake.
Maybe. I'd probably end up going to face with that Mountain Giant, but I'm usually overly aggressive, so I don't know if that's going to be the right decision or not.
I know, I heard you're bloodthirsty, Don.
It's very true.
That's what everyone says about you.
It's a word on the street, man.
Well, he's going to play the Drake first. Going to get that extra bonus health.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he could, yeah, just block the spells that way.
Ooh, what's he going to do? Got to make a decision, man.
You know, I
leaving Thorson out is so dangerous.
Yeah. Look at his board control now, too. Like, Blade Flurry is the only thing he could possibly be scared about right now. And he's not scared about it because he just played Lotheb. So,
yeah.
I like trading that a lot.
And now, the big deal with putting Lotheb out is that now Lucete can't Malygos Conceal. And so he can't set up that huge turn with, like, a bunch of direct damage. But he hasn't really drawn much of it yet this game. So we'll see what he does. Antique Healbot's not terribly inspiring of a play right now.
He just doesn't really have much he could do at all. This is the best choice to just draw, eliminate that Sun Cleric.
Yeah, he's just gonna take the 8 too.
Yeah, it's not a good play for him, but I think it's the best choice considering that he just got Lotheb. Another Shadow Flame.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got so many options now with those.
So we're probably gonna see a tap here.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
He's got the heal bot.
Yeah, do you just go ahead and throw out the heal bot, have another 3/3 on the board? Let's see what he draws. Another Dark Bomb, okay. Yeah, so just going to put the heal bot out, I think.
Yeah, that's what I do. Just
makes sense.
Get that health out, get another drop down.
He's got a lot of board presence.
Yeah, do that damage, man. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's 9 more damage. That puts him at 10 health. I mean, he's getting close to lethal here.
Well, with 2 Dark Bombs, he doesn't need a whole lot to finish him off.
Yeah, if any of those minions survive, he's pretty much got it in the bag.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, it'll be 1 off if only the 3 minions survive.
It's true. Ooh, sap.
Okay, here's the heal bot. I think it's a smart choice because he's getting pretty low and he knows that there's all sorts of cards that can kill him at this point.
Yep.
I mean, even Leroy Jenkins, we don't see that anymore, but I mean, who knows, man? We don't know what's in there.
People are running Arcane Golem for a little while, but I don't think so. This is a slower one, so Ragnaros here. Ragnaros is just so good. He may just go for it. Actually, no, it's enough with 2 Dark Bombs, isn't it?
2 Dark Bombs.
Yeah, okay.
Only case scenario where he lives is if the 3 is the only one on the board.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so there it is. Yeah, so Seulsiho takes the second game with his Warlock, up 2-0 now over Lucete. And things are kind of proceeding how people expected with these 2 players. But can Seulsiho win 1 more game with his Mage? That's all he needs to do to make it to the winners match later today to face the winner of Luxam or a Belmo.
It's looking very focused today.
Yeah. I'm just really not sure about this Rogue deck from Lucete. I mean, there's a reason why this Malygos Rogue just hasn't been as popular as the other Rogue archetypes, and the reason is consistency, right? It can be really good. It can just go off and slaughter people, but does it do it consistently? And at the end of the day, consistency in your decks is kind of the most important thing in CCGs at a competitive level. So I really am not so sure about the choice to bring this Malygos Rogue to the match today from Lucete.
Yeah,
we're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. When we be back, Game 3. And welcome back to Hearthstone Masters Korea, and first review of our first 2 games. We had that Druid versus Rogue first off.
Yeah. And just bad draws here basically for poor Lucete. But I mean, I feel like the deck in general just ends up being kind of weak here compared to what he's up against. It feels like, I mean, I said it earlier, I don't like to say things like this, but it feels somewhat gimmicky, you know?
Well, you're not going to get, I mean, it's just a tough matchup against Druid, and then it's also a really tough matchup against Handlock, which is what the next, review we're going to see is.
Yeah,
but
maybe he was hoping it was going to be Mage he hit, but it just didn't happen.
Could be. I mean, with Conquest, you need to get a win with every deck, so we'll see what he can do. I mean, at this point, if he can beat the Mage deck with all 3 of his, he can still win the series, and Conquest is almost never a 3-0, so now we have the thing where Lucete can choose Mage, Hunter, Rogue. Seulsiho has to play Mage. And here's that Handlock game, and it just was never even close.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, with this format, as I just kind of learned about it today, when you're at this point where it's a 2-0, you know exactly what deck your opponent's going to play, or what, at least what class is going to play, and you have 3 different classes to choose from, so you have this insane inherent advantage.
Yeah. I think back as well to the turn where he had Emperor Tharizen and he chose to play Blood Mage Thalnos instead of Conceal. And I kind of would have rather saw the Conceal there too, because you have to wonder if it would have helped. Yeah, if it would have helped maybe to have him out, but either way, Handlock is still one of the hardest matchups for Rogue. And Seulsiho making the right decision in taking out the 5-5 here.
I don't want to see the Rogue deck again, but I feel like we could see it, actually.
Well, we're going to have to see it at least once more.
Yeah.
Lucete's going to win the match. But after losing 2 games with it, I feel like you give it a break. Even though you have to win a game with it, take a break, play a different game, or play a different deck, rather. Get your mind in the right place.
Get your mind in the right place, start to figure out Seulsiho's actual Mage deck, because he doesn't know exactly what's in it. Start to scout it a little bit with a different deck if he's going to, end up winning against that.
We'll see what he decides to go with. Seulsiho has to play Mage. We don't know what kind of Mage deck it is.
And I'm not looking, I'm not checking.
Nope, me neither. But at least Lucete knows the class he's going up against. Let's see what he chooses, guys. It's time to go into game number 3 and see if Seulsiho can close it out 3-0, or if Lucete can make a comeback. It's game time. Here we go. It will be that Rogue. So Lucete gonna give it one last try with this Rogue. And
I had a feeling, man. I did it twice in a row. So long as these patterns just continue.
True enough. And a much better draw this time for Lucete.
Oh, really good.
Not bad at all. Looks like it could be Mech Mage for Seulsiho. You do see the Snow Chuggers in Tempo Mage sometimes, but
he's got a Drake, which is in both Mech and some Tempos as well. Starts to look more mechy here.
Oh, yeah.
Cogmaster.
It's mech, yep. It's definitely mech. Yeah, definitely mech with that Spider Tank draw. And, yeah, Cogmaster. The first draw there. And luckily for Lucete, he's got a way to deal with it. He's not going to use it, though.
Yeah, I guess he just wants to make sure. I don't know. He's going to eat 3 damage here.
Yeah, that's...
He can combo this. Well, actually, he could have combo with the other card as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, yeah. See, this is what I was thinking. Maybe he wants to use it with this, but
yeah. Okay.
And now he can combo the 2 damage later.
Oh, fans of the Marine, huh?
Yeah.
The Marine was one of our Korean casters, of course.
Says he's been watching him for 2 years.
Wow. That's not very long. The Marine's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Gotta keep watching.
Yep. See, when you've got 2 Cogmasters out, which one is the real Cogmaster? Because there can only be one master and one apprentice,
Probably the one that's sleeping, I'd say is probably the real one.
Oh, well, they're both dead now.
Yep. That's unfortunate, because the next turn he was going to be able to drop that Shredder and get mad damage on the board. But
seriously, man. It's going really well for Lucete so far. That's backstab draw, not bad. There's a piloted Shredder. Definitely an annoying creature to deal with. Let's see what he decides to do.
Let's see what he gets.
Yeah. Oh, Gilbin Stalker.
That's all right. Not a bad card to get. I mean,
just your standard 2/3 with stealth, but it is a bit annoying to deal with.
Yeah, can't target it at all, so that's somewhat annoying. Does he just Drake himself here, or do you think he wants to actually fireball the Drake down? Because I think those are basically his only two choices here.
I mean, you really want to save the fireball for the Violet Teachers if you can, right? Because that's going to be one of your few good answers to a minion with 5 health. So we'll see what he does. He just wants to get some board control, so he will go ahead and do it. It's not the worst idea either, but if you see a Violet Teacher come up, it's going to make things a bit awkward.
So far he's pretty lucky that he actually hasn't actually seen that. Don't fight number one in the place where I'm not, is what that said.
Okay.
I don't know what that means exactly. I'm probably missing a reference here, but
I wouldn't know. Chover take the win. Double Spider Tank.
Well, one Spider Tank is not enough, man. Double Cogmaster to double the Spider Tank.
16 Legs of Fury.
With all these doubles, all he needs is a mirror SD at this point.
You know, they call it Spider Tank, but I don't think it has 8 legs.
No, I think it only has 4.
Maybe 6. Gets rid of a lot of the board. Still 3/3 out. Oh, Annoyatron. Wow, what a sick turn. That's just annoying to deal with. And there's Archmage Antonidas. He's going to go ahead and play the
he wants the parts.
Gnome, yeah.
He wants the parts to combo with Archmage. God, this game just turned around so fast. It's actually now really rough here for Lucete because Sap's not going to save him here.
Wow. Well, this is what Mech Mage does. He really needs, well, that's something, but he really needs a way to just clear the board. He doesn't have any weapon damage to get a good Blade Flurry off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, might as well. Might as well just kill the Azure Drake with that Eviscerate, get the sap.
I guess he's just going to hit every weapon, but that's going to give that spare part, which is one step closer. He still doesn't actually have any answer for Archmage Antonidas except sap.
Well, I believe
he doesn't know that, though.
I believe both the Eviscerates have been used this game already, haven't they?
Yeah.
And so Archmage Antonidas, just play the part, get a fireball in your hand, give him taunt, sure, why not?
Hammer portrait, he's like, well, I already won.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing that can stop him is another sap, right? And even if you sap, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll play him again.
Yeah.
Why not? Thanks.
You already got the fireball out of him.
Yeah. Archmage put back into retirement for a little while.
Because when you lose the spare part card off of that sap, it doesn't really matter because it's a spare part card. It's not a real card.
No, well, he got the fireball. And that's what he really wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, man, and then next turn he could go Archmage and Mirror Entity for another fireball if he wanted to. He can just develop the board this turn.
Yeah, you could actually drop down those Anyongs with the Noyotron here.
Anyong.
Anyong.
Is that what it says on the Korean client? I haven't played it. That's in case you haven't watched Arrested Development, guys. That's how you say hello.
Actually, it says Anyong robot in Korean.
Oh, really?
It's the hello robot.
Hello robot. Love the hello robot.
Look at Lucete, man.
Oh,
he knows he's defeated.
Yeah,
here.
play the Malagos now. Okay, he got Tinker's Sharpsword Oil. So he can clear, well, not a lot of this. Oh boy, sap. Oh, they thought he was playing Malagos. The crowd was like, but no, it was just sprint. Don't worry. Ooh, there we go.
Well, he draws a lot of answers here.
He's got prep.
Yeah. What's he gonna prep though? Because he can't do both Blade Oil and the Blade Flurry this turn. He's actually just gonna have to sit here for a turn.
Well, you really need. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
If he's lucky, he'll clear that with this.
I think you just clear with the Clockwork Gnome, and you just get the part for Antonidas. You might as well actually.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Antonidas too this turn.
Yeah, you're right. He's just gonna get another fireball.
He's still got 30 health, man. He has nothing to worry about. Oh wow, and he even gets a +1 attack on the Spider Tank. Jeez.
Well.
Yeah. Okay, so Lucete, here's the situation. He's got the pieces he needs, right? Or he's got a lot of the pieces anyway. How is he going to use them? He's still going to try to stall it out a little bit more. All right.
He's not too concerned about that.
He's still going to have a big Blade Flurry this turn.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to clear everything, I believe.
Oh.
Prep kind of knives. He'll have to hit. He'll have to hit. Oh, no, he's not going to. Okay, so he's just going to hit it with the minion then. Yep, Blade Flurry. Oh no, he's got Spell Power. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Okay, I was confused too. That actually threw me off for a second.
Wow, what a turn. That's another fireball though.
Yep.
What's the health total at? 17, so he doesn't quite have enough. Oh, if he had a mech to activate that Goblin Blast Mage, that would be nice. But things a little bit dangerous actually for Seulsiho right now.
Yeah, suddenly.
I feel like maybe just developing that Goblin Blast Mage might have been a bit safer. He can kill this.
He can still play it, and that's what he's going to do.
And there's not a lot of ways his opponent can get rid of it.
In fact, right now, there's no way he can get rid of it unless he draws into something with Sprint.
Well, let's see. He could prep Smith, play the Violet Teacher, then prep Sprint.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
He's not going to play the Violet Teacher, though.
Well, he's just going to draw. He's rather, yeah.
Ah, right, an Ebertharzen. Okay. He's looking for more of that direct damage. He's not getting it. Oh,
it's
man.
exact lethal right now. 17 damage.
Yes, it is, and he knows it. He knows it because he saw those 2 fireballs go into Seulsiho's hand.
Yep. In fact, it's 18 damage technically with the hero power as well.
Oh, man, it's going to be a 3-0. I can't believe it. Seulsiho. Lucete just kind of gathering himself right now.
There's nothing he can do. He literally has no options. He's dead. And he knows it because he knows exactly what those 2 cards are.
Oh, that's really too bad.
Fan service, Tharson for the crowd.
Everyone's favorite card right now. Well played from Seulsiho. And that is going to be it. Exact lethal. 5 plus the 2 fireballs, and Seulsiho will be our first 3-0 winner in Hearthstone Masters Korea. And he will go on to the winners match later tonight against the winner of our second best of 5. GG.
Oh, what a one-sided series. That Rogue deck just
really
did not play out the way Lucete wanted it to.
Wow. I'm shocked that was a 3-0. It was so close for Lucete too, but honestly, I really just don't think it's the greatest deck to bring right now. I wonder what his results were in testing. I've got a feeling they obviously must have been much better, but
yeah.
The deck just did not work out today.
It did not stack up to the decks he was playing against.
I think that's part of it too. I think he ran into 3 exceptionally difficult decks for that to play against, but he also ran into 3 decks that are very common in this meta right now. So I'm a bit surprised about the deck choice. Either way, a 3-0 for Seulsiho, and so that means it's time for a quick break, guys. But when we come back, Lucete versus Abelmo for a second best of 5, and then 1 more after that. So don't go anywhere. Hearthstone Masters Korea with Doe and Wolf. We'll be back right after this commercial break. Just a few. We'll see you then.
만약에 4뎀이 본체에 들어간다면 일단 해보고 설마 야! 이거 뭡니까 이게? 네, 피지컬. 와, 이렇게 기적을 만들어내나요? 기적을. 이야, 이거를 아니 어떻게 이런 확률을 만들 수가 있을까요? 이게 가능한 일입니까? 예, 정말 몇백분의 1의 확률을 설계하는 사나이. 그 이름하여 바로 정글람머.
진짜 병력 소집을나 어떤 하수인을 먼저 써서 폭탄의 데미지를 무조건적으로 좀 맞아줘야 돼요.
그렇죠. 네. 본체의 딜이 안 들어와야 되는 겁니다. 그러니까 확률은 어쨌든 간에 본체에 들어올 확률이 있어요. 지금. 본체에 4딜이 들어오면 안 되는 거죠.
이게 말이 됩니까?
도대체 이게 믿을 수가? 자, 이런 확률이 도대체. 세상에 역대 세상에 이렇게 운이 없는 사람을 처음 봤습니다.
지금 이거 게시판 난리 났어요. 지금 박사부 나오고 있어요. 지금 한 10줄 올라갔습니다. 지금.
드디어 사제가 나왔습니다. 그런데 보통 사제가 아니라는 말씀을 드리고 싶네요. 이걸
고민하는 거 보면은 그러면 일단 보호막으로 드로우를 보고 치유마법진을 찾아서
자, 여기서 실행하는 보호막. 이야, 이럴 수가 있나요? 윗드로. 이야, 세상에 정신. 감사합니다. 대회에서 이런 얘기 나오는 게 당연하긴 한 겁니까? 이럴 수가 없습니다. 자, 이게 지금 데미지를 주면서
이거는 저희가 감사합니다 진짜. 와,
저희가 감사하네요.
와, 진짜 이런 덱을 써주다니요.